How about another harvest video? I'm going to just show you a little more about harvesting sagebrush. Unfortunately, right on the side of a busy highway. Actually not terribly busy, but just at that moment happened to be kind of noisy. So let's go talk a little bit about harvesting sagebrush to make model trees. So this is the deadliest road in Utah for sure, maybe in the country, I can't recall. Highway 6, this is Spanish Fork Canyon in Utah. And it's a little bit wet, but the conditions are above freezing. It's not snowing too much, and I wanted to just do a video here to show you some of the beauty of Utah, but also a little bit of searching for some sagebrush. This is heading down into Sanpete County, Utah. This is a small little secluded county in Utah on the east side of the main I-15 corridor, and that hill that we're passing right now is one of the most common trouble areas where they have avalanches in the winter, mudslides, and it looked pretty clear today, so I think we'll be okay. Let's clean the windshield off there and hopefully get us a little cleaner view. But we're about to pull off into down into Sanpete County. We're headed to the right up here to go down onto Highway 89, which is actually one of the old original corridors. State Street and Highway 89 travel from one end of the state to the other. Used to be the main connection. Now we've got I-15 that goes through the whole state. And this sagebrush that I use for model trees is native to Utah, and so it's something that you don't find in Pennsylvania, which is why I sell a lot to Pennsylvania and other areas back east. But those hills that we're looking at are mostly sagebrush and juniper. Those are the bigger plants that grow on the hills. Now there is a lot of rabbit brush as well, which is what you're seeing on the sides of the road here that we just passed. The rabbit brush has the yellow flowers on top right now. They're at the end of the season, so they're dropping seeds everywhere. But this stuff right here is sagebrush. The majority of that, yeah, that's all pretty much sagebrush there, and you'll see that on both sides of the road here. So there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of different varieties of sagebrush. The more gnarly stuff with lots of branching and wide branching is something that grows when the sagebrush is struggling. And so in the drier climates, the drier areas, the hillsides where they're not getting as much moisture or something like that is often where you'll find that wider branching stuff. And then the tall, narrow sagebrush is something that grows closer to water. So we're coming through an old town. There used to be a town here. You might have noticed the old foundations there on the right. And that house in the buried in the water right here to the left. So this is the town of Thistle. Thistle, you can look up on YouTube and see an old news article about Thistle being inundated or flooded with water back in 1984, I believe, where there was a mudslide that they just could not keep ahead of, and it literally flooded the town, and they haven't reestablished since. They had to, once that mudslide finally ended, they ended up digging a tunnel, a couple of them through there for the trains to go through. So that mudslide sealed off the town, flooded the town, and Thistle was no more. So let's get out and do a little looking for sagebrush here. So when we look at the variety options, here's a sagebrush that is growing more straight and tall. If you look at these pieces, we've got a lot of straight pointing branches. Notice the branching there, and I might have to cut some of that off to really be able to see how that works, because it's hard to see it. It's hard to see it with all the background. So a lot of times I'll trim that up a little bit. My finger span or hand span is about 9 inches. So this is like a 12 or 13 inch tall tree potentially. So if we look at that, you can see there, that's one variety of sagebrush that we have available. Now if we come right over here and look at this one right next to it, this has a little bit more wider branching. This has the sagebrush leaves on it, which actually can be beneficial if I cut that type of sagebrush. So this stuff right here, for example, if I were to cut some of this and keep the leaves of the sagebrush on there, that gives a different opportunity for making a tree. And I actually like this one right over here, right over the fence. But those right there, I look at that and I see some really very nice potential tree shapes there. That one as well over on that side, so I'd like to grab those. Here we've got some smaller sagebrush that doesn't look like it's offering as many great opportunities. That one's been broken, something walking through here, but that one actually doesn't look too bad. So let's cut that off and we'll show you what that can do. So we'll cut that right above the break for the most part. And see, that's not a bad tree shape. A few broken branches, but you could really work with that and make a decent tree. Here's another one with a little more branching, kind of peeking through the stuff there. So that has some great potential there, and that's one that I'm going to take home and turn into an 8-inch tree, I think, there. So I like that one. If we look over here, I don't see as much potential on this bush here. So see, I really do have to wander around a bit looking, especially when I get an order where somebody says, hey, I want this shape, this design, but look at all the opportunity. There's so much sagebrush, and that's mostly what we have in the smaller bushes all over the desert here. And yeah, there's snow on the ground, but it's not too cold. It's about 30 degrees here right now, which when you're used to feeling 20 degrees, 30 feels pretty warm. This is almost t-shirt weather. So I like this one right here. That's a great looking tree. I'm gonna cut that right down low there, and there we have another great tree option that we can do. We'll add that to our bundle here. Here's another one with a good wide potential. So we'll grab that one. Here's a smaller wide tree potential. And notice how that it was growing like that, right? And so we turn that this way, and we've got to cut these that are going sideways unless we want a tree that looks like it's blowing in the wind. So some of those will be trimmed off. So we've got a little bit of a bundle of them there. And I've noticed as I harvest these pieces of sagebrush, if I cut these and then come back to it later, it actually helps the bush. You know, it's doing a little bit of pruning there. That one, that's fantastic. So there's a little tree, and so if I cut that right down here to take most of that off, that will branch out and actually grow. Even though I took all the leaves off of it there, that's going to grow more sagebrush, and it also encourages more small bushes to come up. I've noticed in areas where I've harvested almost all of the tops of the sagebrush, I come back a year later and I see a lot of these small things popping out of the ground. So, all right, we'll take those for today, and I'll show you what I can do with them. Bring those back to the truck, and now I get to smell sagebrush on the rest of my drive, which is an absolutely wonderful smell. One of the best things is smelling sagebrush after a rain, spring or summer. But I love the smell, so it's going to be a great air freshener for my vehicle. And not everything's a mess in my truck, but I travel alone most of the time. It's my commuter vehicle, so I've got a backpack in here. I've got my boots. I've got my tissue box in case I need it to, and my winter windshield cover, and just stuff's just kind of thrown around. And I have to clean it now and then when my wife sees it. So, but hey, let's take the stuff home and see what we can do with it. Just passed a couple of little bosques, little groves of gamble oak, and I'm wondering if we'll see some of those here again coming up. But gamble oak is or scrub oak is a pretty common tree here in the Utah desert and our desert mountains as well. And if you're looking for a larger armature, if you're going to make trees in larger scales, need something that's maybe 18 to 24 inches, then the gamble oak is a possibility. It's got some really cool growth, a lot of twisted branching, but it's something that grows larger, so you're not gonna, there's one we just passed on the left there. You're not going to see gamble oak in a small version like HO scale or anything, because it just grows bigger than that. As I return home from grabbing that sagebrush, I'm looking at these trees that are in the medians and on the edges of the road here, and I'm just thinking, you know, I need to make a tree with snow on it. I just love that look. So that's something that I think I'm going to create, is to do some trees with the snow, because look at those, they're just stunning. I love the look of the snow on bare branches. Okay, so this is one of those pieces that I picked up.